Okay, we are live. I don't know if many, if any, people will rock up to this. This is more so a test. Um, but I'm just giving it a go today with a different stream, um, or a different set of opponents, and it should be good fun because um, I'm probably gonna enjoy myself watching this game because the Nets suck. So basically, the goal for today, I mean, the Sixers are playing the Bucks, and I thought I would do a watch party for it, which could be cool. Um, and watch things from a more neutral perspective. That, of course, is the goal. That's the whole point of this today, and more just to test how I go with doing a play-by-play call for a different lot of teams that are probably significantly better than or better at basketball. Um, But right now, yeah, it's going to be good fun, I think. Yeah, the Sixers, I mean, they are the sixth seed. They are falling in standings because no Joel Embiid. Maxey was out for a bit of time, so he's come back in the last couple of games. Sixers have really struggled with offense. They've not scored in their last, or scored 100 points in their last three games. So they are really struggling to get it going on the offensive side of the ball. And obviously, that's only one part of the story because they've got to deal with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Damian Lillard. Um, Obviously, those two are starting today for the Bucks. They will be starting with Pat Bev, Jay Crowder, and Brook Lopez, and then for the Sixers, who are obviously they've got a few absences of their own, as you can see on screen, with Melton and beating Covington out. They will be starting Oubre, Harris, Bamba, Maxey, and Lowry. Those are the five on the floor for them. So that's been the lineup they've sort of run most of the time in recent memory. But yeah, they haven't had too much success. They've really struggled, the Sixers. And look, these two have had two meetings beforehand. The Bucks smoked the Sixers on the 26th of Feb, so a couple of weeks ago, when you would say that both teams were composed very similarly. But then the game where Embiid was actually playing, that was a more interesting sort of match, where, well, I mean, four players for the Sixers scored 20 or more points and still lost to the Bucks. I think Damian Lillard scored the game-winning basket in that one. He scored 39. He had 17 free throws. Giannis had 23 in that game. So, aside from those two, not too much going on the offensive side, but it didn't really matter. They won the game. And, yes, so the season series is 2-0, and I believe this is their final game going head-to-head this season. So a win would secure the season series. I may be mistaken. But overall, I think this is going to be. I would say the Bucks probably win this game pretty convincingly, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Sixers put up a fight, even though they have really struggled for offense, as I've said. In the previous three games, they've gone and scored. Well, they've scored under 80 in the last two, which is not a good sign for them today. And yeah, I mean, they're probably, not in pole position by default. The Sixers also signed Kai Jones on a 10-day deal, obviously let go by Charlotte earlier this season. So he is going to get a crack on the G League affiliate. Yeah. And that should be, well, I don't think that's really going to eventuate into too much. Yeah, the Sixers have done all right at playing defense recently. But that being said, they have sort of, like, that really doesn't count for anything if you can't score the damn basketball. No one scored more than 20 points in their last game against the Knicks, and then they played the Knicks again before that. And yet again, no one scored more than 20 points. So right now, they've really got not too many. They don't have too many players really that can do too much, but we'll see how we go. All right. So it looks like the game's about to get underway, and I'm not really too fussed if anyone rocks up or not. More just to see how things work with this different layout. Not too fussed. Alrighty. Sixers Bucks. We'll do the jump ball. And then we'll see how we go. Okay. So Giannis and the Bucks taking on the Sixers led by Tyrese Maxey. I would expect the Bucks to get off to a very nice hot start. Alright. Let's see how they go. Alrighty. So, Sixers, Bucks, we're about to get underway. It'll be Lopez and Bamba in the jump ball. And the jump ball is going to be won by the Sixers after a number of players get their hands to it. So, we're going to start with Tobias Harris for the Sixers. And he'll give it to Oubre and back to Harris. And now Maxey, who's obviously cooking this season. When he does play, he's got a fair amount of responsibility today. Knocks down the three nice and early. And gets the Sixers on the board. And it is 3-0. So, Sixers 136 in the 6 seed. And the Bucks have 144 sitting, or 42 sitting in the 3 seed right now. They try to feed Lopez under the basket, a turnover, and Lowry's got it. Lobs it up to Bamba, who's going to roll it back to the outside, and now Maxey again. Pull up 3. Oh my goodness, he's off to a cracking start. He's hit 2 3-pointers, and the Sixers have got out to a 6-0 lead early on. Giannis the drive, and Lowry commits the blocking foul, and I thought his feet were planted. But it's going to be Bucks ball on the side. The Bucks have the 5th best offensive rating in the league. The Sixers are number 1 for steals, deflections, points off turnovers, so you would expect they want to run the break as much as possible today. Obviously no Embiid though, so that makes things a little bit more difficult without having that defensive anchor. Lopez on the outside, top of the key 3. Yes, and it is good. And all 9 points have been accounted for from the outside. So 9-3 or 6-3. And Harris is going to look to respond, and he misses to the left, aboard by Pat Bev. He'll get it to Damian Lillard. Picked up by Maxey on the outside, and he's going to bounce past it to Giannis in the post, who's going to back down Tobias Harris. The double arrives. The kick out to Lopez, now to Bev on the wing. And Beverly's wide open 3 is good. So 6-all. 2 minutes in, and it's fair to say that this is a change of pace from watching Nets games all the time, because they can't fucking make a 3 for their life. And here we are, with 4 threes in the first 2 minutes of the game. Maxey's shot is deflected, and the Bucks are going to run in transition. Giannis is well held up. I thought he travelled. Instead, the kick out's on. Gives it to Dame, the sidestep 3. He's hit a 3 as well. 5 3-pointers in the first 2 minutes of this game. And Damian Lillard has, well, that's his first bucket of the game. The Bucks are on a 9-0 run. The Sixers scored the first 6. Then the Bucks have followed it up with the next 9. Oubre the response. Nope, that's short. The board by the Bucks, and Dame will push the pace here for Milwaukee, who will give it to Giannis. We'll get into the paint, the spin, and a throwdown. That's fucking ridiculous. I mean, I can't really, like... No sugarcoating it. That is just ridiculous. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. But Giannis with the reverse, or the pirouette into a dunk with one hand. Barely had to jump off the floor. Bamba for 3 tries his luck, and he hits a 3 in the face of the defender, which was Lopez that time. So Sixers, all of their points from 3s. And then the Bucks have also scored all their points from 3 bar 1. Damian Lillard hits another 3-pointer. How many threes? And we've got a little bit of miscommunication there by the Sixers. They're in a bit of disarray early. Fair bit of dialogue being spoken. The Bucks have not missed. And the Sixers are 3 of 6. Harris on the outside, picked up by Giannis. And now we'll hand it out to Lowry, and the screen will arrive by Bamba, which forces the switch. Nope, Pat Bev is on the back shoulder. That's a high. Oh my goodness. That was up in the clouds there by Kyle Lowry, but he was able to convert over the top of Lopez. And that's the Sixers' first field goal made from inside the arc. Lowry averaging 8 a game this season. Lopez, deep 3. That is their first miss of the game. Short on the 3 as it bounced off the rim. Now Tobias Harris will drive it in. Kick it out to Lowry. The screen and the switch again. Harris will back down Pat Bev, who's going to be a pest here and make life difficult. Harris lost the ball, got it back, lost the ball, and then there was a foul on the baseline. And it is, I believe, Pat Bev picking it up. Lopez is also in a little bit of awe as to how that is indeed a foul. But it's going to be. Can't change the decision once it's made. And the Milwaukee Bucks will have to play defense yet again on this side of the ball. Bamba looking for Lowry. Gets it to Lowry. The screen arrives by Dame. The drive. The lob. It's off. The board. Pat Bev. Giannis. It's a 3-on-1 fast break. Good luck, Maxey. Giannis blew the layup. And then the rebound somehow ends up with the Bucks. Pat Bev is open in the corner. Driving kick. Knocked away by Lowry, who read the pass. He was actually in the Sixers half. And then he had to sprint back on defense to knock that one out of bounds. So 14-11. The Bucks will have another possession here with the clock reset. And I don't know what's going on. I think there was a foul off the ball or shot clock malfunction. The 7:22 mark of the first quarter. And it is Pat Bev who will inbound to Dame, who will shoot the 3. No hesitation. It's off. Rebound Bamba. Maxey will bring it forward for the Sixers. So Maxey now one-on-one with Crowder. He will drive. Good burst of acceleration, but unfortunately lost the ball. He ran out of room to get that pass off, and it will be Bucks ball. 5 minutes in. 14-11, Lopez. Giannis, Pat Bev is open right in front of the bench, and I don't imagine he's a very good three-point percentage or three-point shooter, just generally speaking, this season. Probably in any season, to be honest. Harris is going to try cook on Giannis. Great cut by Lowry. Pat Bev lost him, and it was a regulation layup, uncontested. So, pretty lackluster sort of defense there by Pat Bev. That's not what he's known for. Good proactivity by Lowry, and now the back down there by Giannis. The kick out to Crowder. Drew a couple defenders. It was an open look, and you got to hit those if you're looking at it from a Bucks standpoint. Lowry's going to give it to Harris now. And he's going to give it out to Oubre. Picked up by Damian Lillard. Oubre drives. Gets one up with the left hand and scores over 2. And that's a pretty skilled move. The Sixers have the lead back after losing it. And the basketball bounced incredibly weird there. We're going to get our first time out of the game. It's 15-14. 5:55 to play. First quarter. And the Sixers haven't looked too bad. I mean, they haven't looked like a side that is scoring, is scoring how many points? 80 a game. They're doing a little bit better than that at the moment. Okay. Hey, Thomas. Welcome, mate. Yeah, this is like more a test stream. I'm just giving it a crack. Seeing how we're going to do, if this is more long-term thing or if it's just a one-off. Just want to see how it goes. That's the reason we're doing this. This is really frustrating. Hang on. Because I want to turn ads off. Because I don't know why the ads are on for this. Didn't want the ads on. So, I'm going to turn off the ads. Okay. So right now, Sixers lead by 1. And let me get the box score updated because that is just a necessity, irrespective of um stream this is. I just need to make sure I'm on top of the box scores. Right now, we've got Maxey with 6. He scored the first 6. Dame scored the first. He scored all 6 from outside as well. The Sixers are 6 of 9 from the field, and the Bucks are 5 of 10. 4 threes for the Bucks, and then for the Sixers, they've made 3. So more than half the shots taken in this game have all occurred from the outside, and nearly every Buck has taken a 3-pointer, barring Giannis. And then for the Sixers, they've nearly been flawless from the outside. So they've had a really good start. And then from a Bucks perspective, well, you probably wish you had a better start than this. I wouldn't imagine too many Milwaukee supporters are going to be very impressed. But overall, not a bad start for Philly. I think they'll be pretty happy with what they've dished up so far. Defensively, really challenged the role players of Milwaukee to make their shots. Giannis is getting doubled, so he's forced into those kickouts more often than not. And Dame's had a couple of good looks as well. He doesn't really need good looks to score 30 a game. He could take a ton of chuck ups and he probably would still be able to score 30 points. But he's been pretty solid. I've just gone to the Nets screen. I'm an idiot. Okay. Thank God I noticed that, because that would have been a little bit embarrassing. So it is the Sixers in possession. It's Maxey. Good pass over the shoulder to Harris. The driving kick as numbers collapse, and Oubre's 3 is short in the corner. The Bucks started on fire. They scored their first 5. They've missed their next 5, but Lopez ends that ice-cold streak with a 3 from above the break, and the Bucks are back in front. 17-15, Lowry off the glass. He sort of had the defenders a little bit indecisive whether he was going to go up himself or pass it off. But obviously we see the results, and it is now 17 apiece. Dame, high screen Lopez, bounce pass behind the back, Lopez the 3. God, he's chucking up a ton of bricks from the outside, bro. He's just a little bit trigger happy from the outside. He got given the green light for sure, but I think he's taken the most shots of any Buck. I wouldn't say that's what they would really want. With Giannis and Dame on the floor. 17 apiece, and Harris will go to the line. He was fouled on the baseline. Jade will be 2 shots for him. And free throws coming up for the Sixers. So 4:45 to play in this first quarter, and the Sixers up. Well, they will be up if they make these free throws. Harris averaging 17 and 6 on the season. He's had a decent enough year, but they have significantly struggled when they've had to elevate Harris to the second option. Obviously, Maxey to the first option. You can win a couple of games here and there, but when inconsistency rules, these are a lot of role players who are playing some uncharacteristic roles. It's going to be a little bit difficult to overcome from their perspective, because they have to play well nearly every single game to make up for that Embiid absence, which is easier said than done. We have seen some substitutions here. Batum's in, Reed is in, Portis and Connaughton are in for the Bucks. Crowder's push shot is off, and the board by the Sixers, who will push the pace. Batum darted to the corner. He was wide open, and no Bucks knew it. However, the 3 was off by Batum in the corner. And now Lillard, who's on the court, running the offense by himself with Giannis off the floor. Portis steps into a 3. It's off. Crowder saves it. Connaughton, Lopez, and now Portis. Oh, well, it was supposed to go to Portis, but a pass by Lopez was incredibly well off. and they'll be absolutely ruining that missed opportunity because, bro, Portis was on Lowry in the post, and even though Lowry is more built than most guards, I wouldn't imagine he's advantaged in that situation. So Green is in the game for the Bucks as well, and that's a steal by the Bucks. I think Portis knocked it away. I just merged Bobby and Portis together into one word. The Bucks score in transition, and it's 19 apiece with 3.5 to play in this first quarter. So this has been a closer game than I anticipated to start things off. Harris steps into a 3, and that one is also off. The board by Green, and he'll give it to Dame, who's going to absolutely cook, I would imagine. Guarded by Batum. Lopez the roll, and that's an easy score. Easy layup. And a great dime by Damian Lillard, who's averaging 6 dimes this season. Lowry's going to call a timeout. Looks at the ref, says we need a stoppage, and it is 21-19. Second timeout of the game. And this is the box score for the Bucks, and Lopez has scored 8. He's taken the most shots. Giannis has been a little bit out of it. He's scored a bucket, but he's missed the layup. He's been pretty good at facilitating, and he's gotten a steal as well. But you know, there's a few things left on the table. I mean, the Bucks probably need a bit more from him early on. You don't want him to take 2 shots. Yeah, but overall, they're shooting pretty well. 5 threes made, 8 of 16 overall, but they have normalized a little bit after a really hot start. They made their first 5 shots of the game. And then from a Sixers perspective, they've got 6 each from Lowry and Maxey. They're not shooting it too poorly either. 7 of 13 from the field and 3 of 7 from 3. The 3 turnovers is probably really something they can't afford. And then, I mean, rebounding numbers are pretty similar, except the Bucks have raked in a couple of offensive boards. So really, the Sixers, for a team who lack offensively, I don't think they can really afford to be giving away these extra possessions to Milwaukee, for sure. So definitely going to have their work cut out for them today. I can tell you right now. Are you not a Nets fan anymore? No, I'm just doing a neutral stream. Partially because I just can't be asked with Nets games these days. In terms of, like, I know what they're going to dish up. I just want to watch a game of basketball and enjoy it and get G'd up. Because I just don't get G'd up by Nets games at the moment. Because there's no real reason to. When you don't know the direction, when they're dishing up a shit product, you really just don't know what to expect. And to speak to your username, I am a depressed Nets fan at the moment. So I'm looking at other organizations and seeing how they're performing to know what good basketball actually looks like. But yeah, this is just like a little experiment. I am going to be doing another game on the weekend. It'll be or for Nets, the Nets streams will be back. I just couldn't do the Cavs game. I could do the Cavs game. I just voluntarily decided I did not want to do that because I didn't know what this team was going to dish up. Of course, they play well, but then Orlando, they crash back down to earth. So, you know what? Like, I didn't really miss too much. We play the Pacers for the first time this year, which is not going to be fun because they're the number 1 offensive team in the league, and we can't score for shit. And we also can't defend. So I reckon we could honestly concede 140 points. Harris, after the timeout, the kick out to Maxey, the drive. Harris, short pull-up, is off, and the board by the Bucks, and it's now Lillard again, who's going to drive, and he drew the foul +1. And he was able to get the arm locked up with the defender, which I believe was Maxey. The acceleration was just too difficult to handle. And it was Buddy Hield, who's actually coming off the bench. Interesting sort of stuff. But that's probably why. What is he doing reaching in? So free throw here for Dame. And I've got to fix the scoreboard up. And the Bucks are now up 5. So Final 3 minutes of this first quarter healed. Bounce pass to Reed, who goes down low and blows the layup. Good defense by Lopez, and now Portis will give it to Pat Connaughton. Picked up by Maxey, and now Portis is going to face up. He's going to now back down Harris. Knocked away by Harris, and Dame will have to go fetch it in the backcourt. It was a pretty forceful knockaway. He got 7 to shoot, but Dame's probably going to pull up from the logo. Nope, he's doubled, and Lopez is going to be open because of it. Batum rolled over well and was able to force the miss. And now Maxey, the bounce pass to Reed on the roll, but Lopez is playing drop coverage, so there's no real opening there. Maxey's been quiet after the opening couple of minutes where he scored all his points. Maxey, the 2 falling away, scores and cuts the lead to 3. He's got 8 in the game, and he's leading the way for the Sixers points-wise. Dame definitely could have gotten the foul there. He chucked one up, thinking he was going to get that call. He didn't. And now the Sixers, Maxey, cross, gets through, and doesn't get the angle. Maxey fell to the floor. Reed got the board, but then fell over and lost it, and it got away from him. So now Dame, picked up by Batum, out to Lopez now. About 15 feet from the basket, he's going to take on Harris, and there is an offensive foul. Or a block. Nope, it's an offensive foul. And Lopez, for the second time today, is absolutely in the shits. So Harris was definitely getting held, but then Lopez grabbed Harris's arm, which is not legal. You can't do that sort of shit, and that's going to be pinged a foul every day of the week. So Lopez with 2 personal fouls, that has implications beyond the 2 points being chalked off, and it actually puts him in foul trouble in the early going. So Lopez will be on the bench for some time. Portis will play the 5, and Giannis has returned to the game. Maxey lost the ball, got it back, nearly fell out of bounds. The Sixers somehow save it, and Hield is open top of the key, and he hits a 3. And the Sixers have tied the game at 24 apiece, and we are in the final minute of this first quarter. Buddy Hield's a great signing. Someone's lost their shoe, and I don't know who it is. I think it's Paul Reed, who's guarding the middle without one shoe. Portis lost the ball twice, so it didn't really matter that Paul Reed lost his shoe. Hield pulls up for 3, and he hits! And the Sixers somehow take advantage of a play where their defensive anchor, or their center, had no fucking footwear. So, the Sixers lead. Great cut backdoor by Pat Bev, but the rollover by Paul Reed, the block, and Maxey's going to hold things up because there is like a 0.5 difference between shot and game clock. So Maxey will hold for 1, and this has been a great quarter in the end for the Sixers. Maxey will give it to Oubre. They got 6 to shoot. Oubre is going to take on Pat Bev, and there is a foul. And I'll tell you what, that's good defense. With 4 seconds left, the Sixers are going to need to... Well, they looked a little bit disjointed with that sort of sequence, but 4 seconds to play in this opening quarter, and the Bucks trail by 3. And Pat Bev has also got 2 fouls, so that is 2 starters on 2 personals, and you would think the Sixers will try to exploit that a little bit. Martin Jr.'s in the game for the Sixers. Batum inbounds to Maxey, goes baseline, layup is good, the corkscrew, and the Sixers, there's not 4 minutes left, I promise you. Giannis flings it overhead, gives it to Green, who falling out of play, chucks up an air ball, and that is quarter time, and I promise you there's not 4 minutes left. That is quarter time, and I tell you what, very interesting stuff by the Sixers. They actually lead this one at quarter time. And it's a very good result for Philly. Playing away from home, they're lacking in terms of, offensive firepower, yet they've found a way to get these stops on Milwaukee. And the Bucks, they started well, but Sixers were able to claw it back, and back into the quarter, they scored the last 10 points of the quarter. They've entered the quarter shooting 55% from the field, hit 5 threes, had a couple steals and blocks, and Maxey's got 10 points. So He's got 10. Lowry's got 6. Hield has not missed his 2 3-pointers, and that is a very pleasant box score viewing experience if you're a Philly supporter. For the Bucks, Giannis only the 2 points, playing. Well, I wouldn't say he's playing passively. I just think that the Sixers are doubling him every time, and there's not really an option. For the Bucks there, or for Giannis. Dame is, well, he's leading the way scoring-wise. Him and Lopez have combined for 17 of their 24 points, but not really much outside of that. Lopez has shot 5 threes. Dame's shot 3 of those. Overall, their percentages have gone well down, and their turnover count is well up. A couple of offensive fouls for the Bucks has meant that, to be honest, they've been a little bit disjointed at the back end of the quarter. They have only shot 43% from the field, and that was with them, starting the game, having made their first 5 shots. They then went 4 of their last 16. So that is a bit rough from a viewing perspective if you're a Bucks fan. But quarter time is done and dusted and in the books. I do need to do the Maxey stat line here. And he's been like pure scoring. He's done really not much else. He's got a rebound, but he's got 2 turnovers as well. So Maxey's been a positive for sure. Okay. The second quarter action about to get underway here in the second. Do the Bucks win this? Can you guarantee me? Well, I can't provide any form of guarantee, my friend. I can't provide any form of guarantee. I wish I could. So second quarter is underway, and we have, the Bucks nearly secured, but it's going to be Sixers ball. Alrighty. So, damn, I didn't know Steve Novak was on the call for the Milwaukee Bucks feed. That's pretty cool. So, 11:45 to play here in the second quarter. Connaughton to the corner for Giannis, who shoots a mid-range which barely grazed the rim, and it provided a very soft drop for Oubre to get that rebound, and now Hield will drive and step back and shoot and miss off back iron the board by Giannis. And now that's good defense by Martin, and Giannis bounced the ball on the sideline. So the Sixers have come out with a lot of energy here in this game. Campaign is into the game. Suns legend. OKC legend. Now Oubre on the outside. We'll give it to Reed. And now Payne. Oubre up top. Step back 2 by Reed. Bounces off the rim twice. And then Giannis gets the rebound. Into the game also for the Sixers is... Not for the Sixers. That's great defense. Had Giannis on the deck. It's a 4-on-5 fast break for the Sixers. Oubre pulls up. And it goes down. The Sixers, mate, they are on. They are on, and they've... Look, to your question, VJ, I actually don't know if the Bucks have this... If they're going to play this way for the rest of the game, they're not winning. Gallinari's in the game for the Bucks as well. Oh my goodness, Connaughton nearly put Paul Reed on a poster. Got his hand to the rim. But unfortunately, the ball flew loose. Even still, he was hit on the arm. It's going to be 2 free throws here for Pat Connaughton. But yeah, right now, I wouldn't say the way the Bucks are playing right now, Giannis is getting well held. I mean, there's obviously a long way to go. I think it's too early to make a call on who's going to win the game, but I can tell you right now, if the Sixers hold up the way they've been playing, in being incredibly disruptive, I think they're a very good chance to win this. But, basketball's a funny game. It's a real funny game. Anything can happen. Game can swing in 5 minutes. If the Sixers had a 25-point lead, I don't think I would even say that they're safe. Because it's easier said than done, of course, to, you know, to win games in the 21st century, more specifically in the 2020s, with a 20-25 point lead when offense is at an all-time high talent-wise. So you don't really know what these teams are capable of. Oubre rattles out on the first free throw. In the first 46 games, unsurprisingly, the Sixers were number 1 in the league for free throws with Embiid in the lineup, averaging 27 a game, but now they're 22nd since Embiid went out, where they're actually averaging 10 free throws less. So they're averaging 18 free throws a game. Giannis, well done by the Sixers to trap Giannis on that drive attempt again. They're really working hard to keep Giannis out of the paint. He does turn the corner and throws it down over Reed. That is just fucking ridiculous. Oh my goodness. And then the Sixers just threw it into the backcourt. Oubre ran past where the ball was directed, and the Bucks just get an easy bit of possession here for doing absolutely nothing. That was all Philadelphia's doing. And now the Bucks will drive. Giannis the spin. Campaign is there when the corner is turned. And the Bucks fling it to the corner. Green pulls up for 2, and he gets the soft bounce off the rim, and he's able to cut the lead to 2 for the Sixers. So Bucks have scored the last couple of buckets after the Sixers got out to as much as a 7-point lead about a minute or 2 ago. Oubre's going to drive, and he shoots with the left hand over Gallinari, and then knocked away by Oubre. And the Sixers will have an open 3. And it's Reed who knocks it down. I can tell you right now, I don't think this guy shoots the 3 ball that well, but that's a great defensive play by Oubre. Redeemed himself for the miss. Giannis takes it inside. He lost the ball again. Nearly fell out of play. He did fall out of play. Or he bounced the ball on the sideline again. So another turnover. And Giannis is having a really, really tough time at the moment working his way through things. And the Sixers are doing a great job of trapping Giannis and basically blocking him off at every turn. The Bucks have had 8 turnovers in this game already. And I would say Giannis has accounted for probably half of those at least. Campaign the drive, gives it to Martin, the kick out to Reed, who's going to step back. No, he's not. This is great defense here. Hield is going to penetrate the defense. There's a foul right as the shot clock expired. 8:32 left. And I think it was Giannis who committed the foul. Which is a pretty poor bit of decision-making there. Huge lapse because, man, they did everything right. And oh, that is soft. Giannis was just stepping backwards, courtesy of the momentum that drove him the other way. Like Buddy Hield bumped into him and sent Giannis backward, and then Martin just jumped into him and was able to get the free throw. So pretty lucky stuff there. A lucky break for Philly, and these 2 free throws are good. So 2 points tacked on, courtesy of a heavy bailout of sorts there. Portis is going to back down Paul Reed. Knocked away. Connaughton. We've got a foul off the ball, I think. And that was with 5 to shoot. No, it's going the other way. 3-second call potentially. I'm not sure, but Paul Reed shoots 41% from 3. You're kidding me. There's just no way. This guy, I'm pretty sold. He probably takes a 3 a game. So the percentage numbers are inflated because he barely takes shots from the outside. Because I just envision him as a good rebounding center for his size. Oubre for 3 in the corner. That's rattled off the front of the rim. And the Bucks will take it forward here through Giannis. Nearly got caught for traveling there because he got caught in the air with the ball. Portis scores over Oubre, and that's a tough shot. 7:35 to play. Oubre pulls up for two, and he scores the short pull-up from about 5 feet away. So the Sixers up 7 in what has been an incredibly surprising start for a Sixers team who have struggled to score the ball in recent memory. Giannis is doubled, Portis on the baseline, lost the ball, got it back, lost it again, and another turnover for Milwaukee. They just cannot look after the ball at the moment. 5 turnovers for the Bucks in 5 minutes. Payne puts him to the sword and knocks down the 3, and I think we've got a timeout. Nope. Yes, we do. And the Sixers, mate, have gotten out to their largest lead of the contest. They lead this one by 10. And I'll tell you what, this has been a cracking performance by them at the moment. So they've been thoroughly surprising, and they're even doing this without Tyrese Maxey on the bench. Because quite frankly, it doesn't really matter if Maxey's on the floor or not. If you can get stops, you're going to be able to run in transition and get points off that avenue. And the Sixers have really capitalized on all those turnovers by Milwaukee. I mean, they're practically handing the ball to the Sixers right now. Maxey's got 10, Oubre's got 7, and Lowry's got 6. Hilda's got 6 off the bench. They are shooting lights out. They've been to the line a little bit. They have had the 5 turnovers, but three steals, 3 blocks, really helping him out in the respect of being able to run the length of the floor without an unset Milwaukee defense. They have been questionable this season, the Bucks, defensively. This has got to be an issue for them because they have already got 10 turnovers, more turnovers than assists. And when you look at the Sixers, they've got 3 steals and 3 blocks. That doesn't nearly align with the Bucks' 10 turnovers, which screams to me a lot of these are very much unforced or, they're dead ball turnovers. Where you give away like a 3-second call or you're bouncing the ball on the sideline, those sort of things. And Giannis has only got the 4 points. He has had 4 turnovers already. And Lopez and Pat Bev are on 2 personals. Dame's been on the bench for a little bit of time now. He's been on the bench for about 7 minutes of game action, plus the break. So, yeah, I mean, the Bucks are really sort of struggling at the moment. I mean, their 3-point percentage has gone well down. Field goal percentage isn't too bad. These are very, league average percentages by Milwaukee, but they're just allowing a Sixers team who have not shot the ball well recently to get a lot of confidence out of these extra possessions they're getting. So that is why they lead by as much as they are right now. And, it's a dangerous game you play when you give opposition sides that are significantly weaker than you a fair bit of confidence. Because, confidence is a funny thing. Can do bits. You can do bits. So 42-32. Final 7 minutes of the second quarter. It's Giannis here. The turn, the block, and it's not going to be a block. It looks like there was a foul forehand. So 6:50 to play in the second quarter. And it'll be Giannis at the free throw line to shoot a couple. So free throw is clank. First one. Bucks are really struggling, man. So Giannis, second free throw is good. Splits that pair. Cuts the lead down to 9. And Oubre now will give it to Hield. Now Payne on the outside. Screen there. Hield on the wraparound. The kick out to Payne. He's very much open for 3. And that is way too much space. And he does the McCall celebration. And gets the lead out to 12. I'd say the Bucks fan base are a little bit shell-shocked at the moment. Don't think they went into the game thinking this was going to happen. AJ Green responds in the corner for 3. That's his first make of the game. And that's very much needed. And as an NBA player, you've got to hit those shots as well. Hield, good roll by Martin. Skip pass to Oubre, who sets the feet and misses. He's been badly off from the outside time and time again today. A lot of open looks, but not really any converted at all. Now Pat Connaughton on the outside will drive. The layup doesn't get the angle. The board by the Sixers with 5:43 to play. Hield behind the back. And now out to Campaign. Screen. Pass to Reed. Now to Hield. Screen set. Gets into the paint. Oh, wow. Payne is open again for 3. He is on a heater. Another one knocked down. And Campaign's hit his, I believe, 3rd consecutive 3-pointer of the game. Lopez for 3, the response. That's off. Giannis, good hustle. Bats it back out, and Green hits another 3 for the Bucks. And that's the type of play that's going to get the Bucks back into the game. And they've hit their 7th 3 of the game. I mean, this has been a very, very good shooting performance from the outside for both teams. The Bucks are 7 of 16. The Sixers are 9 of 15. Now it's Payne taking it inside and scoring off the glass. This guy is feeling it. And he's just having a cracking performance off the bench. 11 points without a miss involved in that. Giannis, the turn, the drive, the layup, and it's going to be 2 shots more for Giannis, who had been struggling for to really find his footing in this game. Has struggled. But these free throws here would be nice. Because, yeah, he's barely made a shot from the field, and every time he gets kept away from the paint, he actually has really struggled, and he hasn't really looked after the ball. So, a couple of free throws here coming up for Milwaukee again, and Giannis misses another. He's 1 of 3. Jay Crowder's back in the game for Connaughton. The 4:23 mark. So, second free throw coming up here for Milwaukee. And it's Giannis who's on his second trip. And that one rims in. So 50-40. And the Sixers will give it now to Batum. Bounce pass to Bamba. Out to Payne. On the wraparound, he gets inside. Blocked from behind by Dame. Payne gets it back. Lost the ball as he tried to turn the corner and pass it out to the corner. So the Bucks. Pat Bev is... I mean, they're sagging off him. Giannis now. He's going to drive on Bamba, who's really struggling to hold his own there. And it's going to be more free throws for Giannis. He'd shuffled Bamba right under the basket. That's exactly where you don't want to be as a defender. Where the attacking player can use the rim as a shield almost. It's going to be 2 free throws. I think Bamba and Batum coming across did pretty well there. Giannis only the 6 points, the 4 boards, the 4 dimes. He has gone 2 of 4 at the line today. He's 2 of 5 from the field, so he's been incredibly held up. And that's really the reason the Bucks probably trail at this point of the game. Obviously, a team that has Giannis in it and, you know, isn't benefiting from his strength, they're seriously going to struggle. So Giannis, 3:50 to play in the second quarter. That's good. So Giannis is perfect from the line on that occasion. Shooting 4 of 6 now. The Sixers running Maxey, Bamba, Batum, Payne, and Harris to close the half, it looks. Maxey's well held up there, and then Bamba fumbled it out of bounds, and it's somehow it's Sixers ball. I have no idea. I thought Bamba definitely got last hands on the basketball, trying to rake it back in, because Lopez for sure knocked it away. Giannis is going to go to the bench at the back end of the quarter. So an interesting move to sort of run Giannis in that way. In the sense of staggering him so he doesn't play the final 3.5 minutes. Batum, out to Lowry, who's back in. He was off for a while. Puts one up. Oh my goodness. Dame wants Doc Rivers to challenge. Another occasion where the Sixers have been bailed out. I think that's the second time tonight where the Sixers have been bailed out because, well, yeah, that is never a foul, ever. That was just a chuck up. That should have been a shot clock violation for sure. It's just a rubbish foul call, objectively speaking. And it will, I would assume this one's going to be overturned for sure. Alrighty. Okay. So that is the box score situation there for the Bucks. I mean, no player in double figures for Milwaukee. Cam Payne's leading the way off the bench for the Sixers. I don't think I could have seen that coming going in. Maxey has been well held in the second quarter, but the Sixers, they still shoot 54.5% from the field and 60% from three. I mean, it's not really explainable, to be honest, for a team that's really struggled percentage-wise. The only issue is only the 50 points to this point. I mean, their defense has really been welcomed, for sure. But it's going to take a little bit more in the second half to get it done. No Buck has really... no Buck has taken more than 7 shots, and that's coming from Lopez, which is sort of crazy if you think about it. Only 30 shots have been put up by Milwaukee. It's been a very free-flowing sort of game. A lot of turnovers involved, though. And the Bucks have only just now started to get that free throw percentage up, which is sort of assisting them a great deal. you know, because they've really struggled on the offensive side without Giannis performing. Dame's gone missing in the second quarter. It's a pretty tough. It's a tall order, I will say. Alrighty, so 3.5 to play. Damian Lillard is not going to be hit with the foul there because there was literally zero contact on that foul. Lowry fell over and made a ton of noise, and the referees bought it. That ball did not hit the rim. So it will be deemed a shot clock violation. It was always going to be Bucks ball in the end. And with 3:20 to play, it'll be Crowder inbounding. And the Sixers playing defense. Dame is on the court to close the half. AJ Green is on the court with Pat Bev and I believe Brook Lopez. For the Sixers, Harris, Maxey, Bamba, Lowry, and Batum. And so no Oubre. Otherwise, all starters for the Sixers are on the court right now. Green, great screen off the ball by Lopez. It was short though, the three-pointer. And Maxey with the rebound, towers in. 3 minutes to play, second quarter. Maxey faked the step back three, passed it out to Lowry and got it back. And we have a foul off the ball. And it's a defensive 3-second call. And it'll be Maxey taking the free throw. Lopez has just been in the shits all game today. He's given away a couple of offensive fouls. Been probably a bit stiff on a number of calls that could have benefited him. And then obviously, I believe he just gave away the 3-second call there. So 50-42 the scoreline, and we don't have too long to go in this second quarter. It's Harris inbounding to Bamba, and now Batum will look for Harris, and he gets it there. Screen, and we have an off-ball foul here. It's Crowder who got hit right in the nose, and it took a bit of time for them to call the offensive foul, but they have done exactly that, and now it's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be Bucks ball here. Because Harris sort of flung his elbow back. And the Bucks will bring it forward here. Lillard to Lopez. The drive. The layup is good. And the Bucks cut it to 6. And now Lowry will bring it up for the Sixers. Giannis to the corner for Bamba. Back to Lowry. 2:20 to play. 50-44. Pull up three by Lowry. That is deep, and that is not the right shot you want to take. One and done for the Sixers. And now Dame, the lob. Giannis, the completion of the play. And it's down to 4. 2 minutes to play. And the Bucks have scored the last 7 points. They were down 50-39. They've made inroads nicely here. Scored a few points at the back end after really struggling in the early to middle portion of this second quarter. Maxey is going to accelerate. Got by Crowder. The layup is good. I don't know how he's gotten that to go. I thought Lopez was going to get across and get another block for the Bucks. I say another. They haven't had that many. Maxey's got 12. His first 2 points of the second quarter, in fact. Dame really should have gotten a foul call there. Instead, Giannis had to do it in 2 motions. He wanted the lob initially, but had to take it down low, take a dribble, and then put it up as the defenders went by. 12 for Giannis. Maxey, the pull-up 3. It's good. And the Sixers lead back up to 7. And no doubt, those buckets are massive because you want to go into the halftime break with the advantage, of course. Dame is going to bring it up. The drive. He's going to roll it back out. And he's got Bamba on him. And now the switch has allowed Maxey to do the honors of defending. Lopez to the corner for Crowder, who shoots the 3, and he hits as well with 42 seconds left on the clock. And it's a 4-point game. So, a foul. Oh, wow. What's going on there? Maxey is a little bit in the shits. Looks like we've got a double technical going on here. Maxey and Crowder got locked up. And I reckon... Let's have a look. So, that was just a little bit over the top. Little bit over the top. Bro, there's absolutely nothing in that. I swear to God, if they actually call that for something more. That was pretty soft. There's no way you can call a technical for either player there. You'd be an absolute clown for calling anything else. Okay. So I don't think this is going to be adjudicated as anything more. After Maxey was fouled, there was a bit of a lockup. Maxey flailed his arms. Crowder sort of... Well, Crowder got a technical, but I can't see him getting hit with anything more than just the technical that was deemed to be valid. So it'll be, I think, one free throw. So 33 seconds left in the half. And we've got the stoppage still with 33.8 left in the second quarter. Sixers have outscored the Bucks. No, they haven't. The Bucks have outscored the Sixers 27-26 in the quarter. But the Sixers have had that advantage scoring-wise basically the entirety of the way. So it's going to be a free throw for Maxey, and then it's going to be Sixers ball. So a technical foul for Jay Crowder. And yeah, that's probably... that's a bit of a brain-dead foul to concede, but hands being shaken there by Maxey and Crowder. So no bad blood between them. And I don't really think there's much you could do. Really don't think there's much you could do there. I don't know why Harris is taking the free throw. Probably because he's a good free throw shooter. But free throw is converted there for the Sixers. They get it out to 5. And they're in a very good position here because they've got... Well, they've been able to advance the ball. And they'll trigger in from just outside. Or they'll be able to get it into the three-point shooters. Or potentially, have a nice quick sequence that gets them to the basket in 5 seconds or less, really. Maxey gets it from the inbounds and puts up a 3. Hits! Oh my goodness, Tyrese Maxey. What a shot. What a play. And Maxey, that pace, he was just able to lose Pat Bev. Maxey is 7 of 9 from the field and hasn't missed a 3 in this game. He's been great. Dame wanted a foul, didn't get it. Giannis got the offensive rebound. Giannis is going to shoot a 2, and he scores with 7 seconds left on the clock. The Sixers, oh my God. Maxey, oh my goodness. Maxey put a 3 up from probably 10 feet behind the line. It was that bad a miss that it turned out to be very reminiscent to that of like an alley-oop pass. It very much could have been an alley-oop pass. And then Batum was able to get a shot off as he took a couple dribbles and scored on the baseline. So the Sixers lead by 8 at the half in what has been a very pleasant surprise for Sixers supporters who definitely probably went into this game thinking that it was going to be, well, a blowout. So the Bucks trail by 8. it's ended up being a really frustrating half for them. They've only scored the 53 points, and they've not really gotten too much from their starting lineup. I mean, first and foremost, let's get the Sixers scoreline updated. Or Maxey's scoreline updated. He's only got the 18 points, just a nice casual 18 points on 10 shots. He really hasn't passed the ball. It hasn't really mattered. But you know what, mate? It doesn't really matter how you do it. If you can score the points, well, I mean, that really tells the story. 56% from the field, 58% from three, and they've hit 11 3-pointers. Campaign's hit 3, Hield's hit 2, Reed's hit 1. They have not missed any 3 on 7 attempts from the bench, bar 1. And then from the starting 5, Oubre and Harris have been empty on 3-pointers, but Maxey's made up for it with 4 makes from 5, and then Lowry's hit 3 of his 4 field goals in the game. He's got 6. With Oubre and Harris, Harris hasn't even made a field goal. So this is a great sign for Philly because they have not gotten scoring from where they usually would be expected to get it. 8 free throws, so it doesn't really come from there either. Only the 7 turnovers, that's a great sign for them. The rebounding numbers are very similar. The Bucks are shooting pretty decent, 51% from the field, 42% from 3. Those are great numbers. But the problem is, their free throws sort of lacking. Dame's only been to the line for 1, and that was off an and 1 attempt. And then, Giannis had all his free throws in the second quarter. He leads the way points-wise with 14, and then Lopez has got 10 as well. But the 4 turnovers for Giannis, he's found things incredibly difficult out there. And Dame has been incredibly passive. He started the game really well. He hit 2 threes in a row, but since that point, he's sort of gone missing. AJ Green off the bench is 8. But yeah, the 10 turnovers are putting him into a spot of bother, and that combined with the defense, Maxey's made some incredibly tough shots, but Campaign's had a lot of open looks, Buddy Hield's had a lot of open looks. They've been a bit lackluster, at least in the back portion, on the defensive side. So definitely a few things to iron out from a Milwaukee standpoint going into the second half. But I tell you what, for the Sixers, very, very positive signs for sure. I'm going to, for the people in chat, if there is any people in chat, I'm just gonna put up the Be Right Back. I will be gone for like 5 to 10 minutes. I'll be back for the second half. But I'm just gonna get a breather and then grab something to eat, and then we'll be back for the second half, and it should be good fun. All right. See you in a bit. Alright, so I'm back just in time for the second half. I believe the second half has actually started. Hang on a second. The Bucks are on the board early to start this second half with a 3 from Brook Lopez. We are back though. Alrighty. The Sixers will get into a set nice and early. Lopez has got 13 in the game. I feel refreshed now. And Harris responds with a 3 of his own. So Sixers have found a response for basically every Bucks rally in this game. Giannis on the perimeter. Knocked away by Oubre. Giannis the driving kick. Good passing around the perimeter. Giannis in the middle again. They roll it back to the outside. Crowder's going to have to shoot. He had 3 to shoot and he missed. And a board for the Sixers. And it'll be Harris now in possession. High screen by Bumba. Drive. Gets a shot up. And it rims out the board for Milwaukee. So, couple minutes elapsed. And both teams have hit a 3-pointer. Giannis takes it in. There's a blocking foul on Lowry, who's tried to do that a couple times today when he's seen Giannis running at him. And unfortunately, Giannis was the better man in that situation, and he knocks, doesn't knock down a shot. He probably is on track to do so, though. And it'll be a couple of free throws here for Giannis. Phoenix have shipped off 119 points in this 5 minutes to play. Nurkic has 20 rebounds, which is a bit cooked. So Giannis at the free throw line, shooting free throws 8 and 9. And he rims out on the first. I believe 7 and 8, actually. And I've just been kicked off the game because I reached the stream limit. For God's sake. The second free throw for Milwaukee, I believe, went down. And it did. So now the Sixers up 7. Maxey pulls up and he hits another shot. He's absolutely killing it today. And he's got the lead back up to 10. They're holding him at an arm's length here. And the Bucks are going to have to do, they just have to do a hell of a lot better to stop Maxey, I think. Crowder for 3. It's good. And he lets the Sixers bench know about it. And it's back down to 7 again. Maxey, the high screen, the kick out, Harris, Lowry. And now the switch. Lowry's got Pat Bev on him. And he'll call for the screener, which is Bamba. Lowry was doubled. And that is an incredibly soft foul. The referees have been calling a ton of crap in this game. I have to say, going both ways. Probably more so in the favor of the Sixers, to be honest. Ball's inbounded. Good backdoor cut by Oubre. Couldn't complete the dunk. There was just enough defensive attention there for him to be slightly off. And that's going to be an offensive foul. Third time lucky there for the Sixers. The third time they've tried the blocking foul, and it's worked. A treat. And it'll be Sixers ball the other way. The 8:47 mark of this third quarter. So 67-60, Sixers lead. They have forced Giannis into an absolute crap ton of turnovers. And Giannis has had a rough one, as we've said time and time again today. Turnover number 11 for the Bucks now. Maxey will take it inside. Kick out to Lowry in the corner. He's picked up by Giannis. In an isolation, he's going to take a baseline and he was hacked. And it's going to be... Well, it looks like Lowry got hit on the mouth there by Giannis's arm. So it's going to be another foul there by Giannis Antetokounmpo. He has... Wow. 3 personals, but he's been hit with a T. I have no idea what for. fair to say the Bucks have been absolutely killed by the refs today. A lot of calls have not gone in their favor. Harris. That's another technical free throw miss, though. So 70 or 67 to 60, it remains. And now we've got an offensive foul. Nope. I believe it's a 5-second violation. The Sixers never got the ball in. And so 8.5 to play. Here in this third quarter. Pull up 3 by Dame. It's short. And a strong rebound there by Harris, who was able to shield it from Giannis. Now Lowry, the handoff to Harris, who's going to run to the wing, then takes it down the middle, shoots over 2 defenders, it's off. And then Bamba got in the way of Oubre, who had both hands to it. So, bit stiff there, the Sixers, but missed opportunity nonetheless. And now Dame will pass it to Giannis on the wing. With 8 minutes to play here in this third quarter. The skip pass to Crowder on the other side. And his 3 hits back iron. The board knocked away by Giannis to another Buck in Dame. And now Lopez and now Crowder on the wing. The 3's off again. Clank. And the board by Maxey. He'll take it in. Do it all himself. Doesn't get the bounce off the rim. And I thought that was Bamba again with hands to it, but it's not going to be... It's not going to be Bucks ball. It's going to be Sixer ball. Inbounded there to Harris. Pass was on momentarily for Bamba. Knocked away by Dame, who gets the steal and accelerates ahead of the playing field and gets the finger roll to go. Excellent play there by Dame Dollar. And he cuts the lead down to 5. With 7 minutes left in the third quarter, it is Harris who will bring it ahead. Use that screen there. Drive on Lopez. Uses the pivot foot well. He'll get it back from Lowry. Then give it back to Lowry, who has to shoot a very deep contested 3, which barely grazes the rim. And a board for the Bucks, so they can make inroads here. Giannis, drive. And it's going to be no goaltend. Going to be 2 free throws here. So we're going to get a timeout here. Let's see if the ball was on the way down. It definitely was on the way down. It was never making the distance. And, yeah, that's an interesting sort of decision by Mo Bamba to bring it down. This third quarter, it's been a little bit more evenly contested. More tightly contested in this third quarter. You can see the box scores as it currently stands for both teams. Maxey still playing incredibly well. His scoring output has gone down a little bit here in this third quarter, but you cannot disregard his performance today. 3 boards and a dime, but that is obviously not the headlining play of his stat line. 21 points in the game with only 4 misses, and only 1 of those from 3, even though half his shots have come from the outside. They would look to probably get a bit more from Harris and Oubre. I don't think they're going to win this game if Oubre and Harris continue to be as much of a liability as they have been. Sixers still above 50% from the field and 3, but a couple of free throws been off for them in this game, and it's come from the free throw shooters, which you probably wouldn't expect to miss too many. The Bucks are shooting some good percentages in this game. Giannis is the leading scorer for them with 15, and Lopez is 13. Dame's got 11, but they probably want to just look to have an offense that is very centric around Giannis and Dame in the back end of this game. It's pretty visible that it has been quite difficult for Milwaukee to, get those two going. And we've seen quite a few other players shoot the ball a little bit more than you probably expect. Jay Crowder's taken 7 shots, 1 less than Giannis, 2 less than Dame. I don't really know if I like that split from a Milwaukee standpoint, but you like the Sixers giving themselves the best chance to win based off that sort of, that sort of defensive scheme. So 67-62. Jeez. So Bucks, I believe, with these free throws they're getting now, if Giannis can make both, it'll be 7 points on the trot. Giannis has had the 4 assists today, so decent in that respect, but 5 turnovers, just absolutely killing him at this point. And the minute they iron that out, I can see them probably winning this game. 6:50 to play in the third, and it's Milwaukee with the opportunity to cut the deficit down to under 5 points. They can get it to a single possession here with the make by Giannis Antetokounmpo. Love saying that name. And both free throws converted, so he's wrestled it back nicely after missing quite a few free throws early in the game. Definitely been far more consistent as the game's worn on. Bamba on the outside to Batum, and now Maxey. They're playing a little bit of 3-2 zone, it looks like, which is an interesting sort of scheme, but it is working in the short term from what I've seen. But Lowry was open. Pump fake has meant it is wide open, and he hits as the shot clock expired. So it was well worked by the Sixers. The Bucks did everything right until the very end, where all that space seemingly opened up, and it was pretty difficult to understand how it even happened. Knocked away there by Batum as they look to feed Giannis again. We're just about to breach the halfway point of this third quarter, and the Sixers have done well. They've remained stable. They led by 8 at the half, and they've only had 2 points taken away from that lead, which I guess you would consider a big success. So Giannis, now to Dame. Gonna shoot a 3 with the jab step. Well short, the board by Lowry, who was in front there for the rebound. And now Harris in the corner, picked up by Lillard. Now to Paul Reed. Maxey gets into the paint, maneuvers through with the right hand. Good little navigation there. And the agility was able to get him that separation required. Found the gap, scored. Pretty simple stuff. Crowder for 3. He hits, and he's taken quite a few shots in this game. But it's going to be required that he keeps hitting those shots, because Giannis and Dame have got that attention on him. And rightfully so, because the opposition respects them. Reed for 3. That's off. And a rebound by Giannis with 5 minutes to play. Bucks trailing by 5. Behind the back, Dame the bounce pass to Giannis on the roll. Lopez is open in the corner. He hits the 3. It's down to a 2-point game. And it looks like we're going to get a timeout at the 4:54 mark of this third quarter. And it is this is going to be a cracking game in the final quarter. I can just sense it. I think it's going to be a really close one. The Sixers have done well at every challenge they've faced, but, it's pretty difficult, huh? It's pretty difficult with the Sixers team to be able to hold yourself up. You know, when you've got Giannis and Dame to deal with, at some point their greatness is going to take hold. Maxey has scored 23 in the game, but he can't do it all by himself. He needs a little bit more support, you would expect. Harrison Oubre still is stranded in single digits, and we haven't really seen too much of the Sixers bench. I mean, they've got Cam Payne, who scored 11 in the first half in 8 minutes, and he has not seen any court action in the second half, nor has Buddy Hield, which is pretty interesting. It looks like they're going for the more defensive mindset over offense, which makes sense with the lineup, the personnel you've got. But that being said, I think that's only going to be sustainable for so long. They need a little bit of offense to get that breathing room back. From a Bucks perspective, 17 to Giannis, 16 to Lopez. He shot the 3-ball well. He's made their most threes, taken the most. Crowder's hit 3 of his 6 3-pointers. And yeah, it's really been those 3. And then all those guys. Dame's been on the quieter side after a very fast start. He has had the 6 dimes though. And it's been that sort of game where Giannis and Dame, having combined for 11 dimes, you know, they've been forced into passing it more. In the first half, turnovers were running rife in that team, but they've done well to look after it, and it's gotten them right back in the contest here. And they're shooting the ball much, much better than they were in the first half. At least in the middle portion of the first half, where they found themselves in a bit of trouble. So it is the Sixers. I mean, like, they're gonna have to really perform here. They're struggling, but righto. Hold on. Okay, that's better. Alrighty. It's a 2-point game. And there is just a tick under 5 minutes to play in this third quarter. Long, long way to go still. It'll be Maxey bringing it up. He's had a superb match, but it's going to be on the role players to perform for Philly, which you wouldn't really back him in to do so, but still plenty of time for them to redeem themselves on what has been a pretty poor start. Maxey lost the ball, and there was another foul called. And, bro, these refs have really, really liked the Sixers today. There's been a lot of questionable decisions being made here that have gone more so the way of the Sixers. There's been a couple of soft technical fouls being conceded as well. So, I don't know. Martin Jr. is back in the game. Maxey pulls up for 3 again. They've been utilising that play a lot there, where they use the high screen. Maxey basically uses it to create a little bit of space on his primary defender, and is able to get a wide open look. Dame, the 3, that's to the right. The board by Paul Reed, and Maxey will do the spin cycle around Reed to get that ball without it being stolen. Maxey to the corner for Lowry. He's held up by Dame in the corner right in front of the Bucks bench. Maxey on the outside now on the left wing. He's going to shoot a deep 3 after the jab step. It rimmed out. And the last 2 3-point attempts have been halfway down, but doesn't count for much. Giannis just lost his footing. Didn't get the foul call. Kicks it out to Portis. Connaughton. Step back 3 to give him the lead. It's off. Giannis the offensive board. Body bump. And it's been waved off, that 2-point basket. So, good recycling of the possession there by Giannis. I mean, he was a little bit deeper. He was actually behind Martin Jr. for the rebound, but because of the shot being taken from 3, you usually get those longer rebounds, so it favored Giannis in that scenario. And at the 3:31 mark, Dame will go to the bench, and it'll be Giannis's team to manage here. So Beverly on the wing. will give it to... Well, they're looking for Giannis, and Martin's fronting him up. Here is Giannis right now. Doubled. Pat Bev for 3 gets him the lead. And that's their first lead since, I think, the second quarter. No, it's the first quarter, the very end. So the Sixers can only hold them off for so long. The role players have started to make their shots for the Bucks. And they've stopped turning the ball over, which was a main source of success for the Sixers in the first half. Maxey gets by Green. They're playing zone. Batum in the corner. The response? Yes, sir. And the lead is back with the Sixers. We haven't had too many lead changes, but I can sense with the current margin of the game, I think there's going to be just a few more lead changes the rest of the way here. Giannis Antetokounmpo will drive and kick it out to Pat Bev. The pump fake. Extra bit of hesitation. Connaughton for 3. It's good. And that's good two-man play there by Pat Bev and Connaughton. The overcommit by the Sixer, who had to close out a bit more aggressively, meant that there were open, or there was an extra man and you could exploit it well. Maxey weaves through, shoots with the right again, and scores, and he's found a lot of success with that sort of shot from about 5 to 10 feet away from the basket. The Bucks lead. Good cut by Portis. The spin move, and it's a lockup. How on earth was that not called a jump ball? Instead, the Sixers are able to scramble and get that ball loose, jarred loose. Then in transition, Martin off the window, he scores for 2. Defense leads to offense. And I thought Portis was going to be able to have his defender under the basket and an easy score usually results, but instead, the Sixers have gone the other way, and with no defensive resistance, they score. And another steal there for the Sixers. This time, Giannis the turnover. The bounce pass to Maxey was a little bit wayward, so it's completely held up the fast break possession, but the Bucks were responsible, or had been responsible for basically the whole quarter, had about 1 or 2 turnovers. They've had 2 in the last 2 possessions, and Maxey off the window with the right hand, banks it in, falling to the floor towards the baseline. Leads back up to 5 for Philly. Portis the spin. That's off the board by the Sixers. So this is an incredibly good ending to the quarter. Hield's got it here. Reed is left open. The high screen by Reed. Hield the cross, the layup, and he blew the layup, but Reed somehow ends up with the offensive board, and he's going to wait for a pass to be available. What? I don't really know how that was a double dribble. I think Nurse wants to challenge this, because it's been deemed a double dribble for Paul Reed. I don't think it was. I thought that was knocked away and he got it back. Maybe the referee was blindsided, but I saw differently there. So a turnover for the Sixers. The Bucks can make inroads here. Giannis the throwdown. And most of the time they've been able to stop him from doing that. But when he does do that, it's almost curtains, mate. Good luck stopping. Maxey is able to flip it up and in. I don't know how he's managed that. There was absolutely no daylight for him to get through, and he's found a way to scoop it up and in, bypassing 3 defenders in the process, and the lead's back up to 5. Pat Bev, given a lot of space here by Maxey, but Maxey knows Bev wants to run out the clock. He drives. Oh, wow, that is an interesting bit of shot selection, and it's going to be Bucks ball. A loose ball foul there. It looks like Giannis was getting locked up off the ball, potentially trying to sweep in for the rebound. I have no idea how Maxey was able to get that to go in the previous play. It's absolutely cooked. So that was the Sixers foul to give. So 5 seconds to play for Milwaukee here. That's plenty of time to get a good shot up. And Maxey's gone to the bench, getting a little bit of a longer rest than the break will allow. Giannis the bounce pass, and Connaughton gets it off as the shot clock expires, and the lead is down to a single possession going into the 4th. The Bucks trail by 3, and much better quarter there by Milwaukee. They scored 27 in the quarter, so their offense really not much different than it has been in the first two. But from a Sixers perspective, they sort of dropped off just a little bit in that third quarter. Only the 22 points. If you look at the box score, Tyrese Maxey has been ridiculous. 29 points, 5 boards, 3 dimes. He had pretty empty stats outside of the points until the third quarter, but he's done a great job in this game, man. He could be on for 40. No other Sixer, aside from Cam Payne, has made it to double figures. So I don't think that's very tenable. I don't think the Sixers are winning if Tyrese Maxey is going to spearhead their offense as much as he has had to. He's found it really difficult. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Sixers have really got going into the last quarter. I think it's going to ask more questions of the Sixers than it is of the Bucks. Milwaukee have started to play with a bit more flow and look like a 3 seed. The Sixers are shooting 53% from the field and 3. Their turnovers pretty much similar to the first half in terms of pace-wise, or what they're on pace for. The free throw number really didn't change from a Milwaukee standpoint. 19 for Giannis, 16 for Lopez, 11 for Dame. They're shooting the ball pretty well. The free throws, I think if they can get that upwards of 20, they're definitely probably in the box seat. If not, they're winning this game. Turnovers were down until the very end of the quarter, where they started to be a little bit more careless with it, but they were able to run in transition a little bit more in that third quarter as well. So few more free throws for them in that quarter. Their role players are going to need to step up at the start of the last quarter. And Dame, who's really been quiet since the first couple of minutes, he scored 6 points early on in the first quarter. Since then, he's gone and scored only 5. So I think it's going to be really a matter of whether Dame rocks up or not. If we get a heritage sort of Dame quarter, I think the Bucks will have this one sorted pretty quickly. But as it currently stands, it's been pretty difficult for Dame. But he's getting his opportunity here now, spearheading the offense with Giannis on the bench. Oubre's back in. He lost his footing. Cam Payne forced into a pass. Batum basically airballed the 3, and the Bucks will have an opportunity to get this down to 1 or tie it up at 83 apiece. The 3-seeded Bucks taking on the 6-seeded Sixers. Good kick out there by the Bucks. Green will drive. The kick out to Dame, knocked away by Cam Payne, and we've got 6 seconds for the Bucks to get a shot up here with 11 or so minutes to play here in this fourth quarter. Ball inbounded. Portis, Lopez, pump fake, open 3 is on offer, and wow, that is the worst miss I've ever seen in my life. Mans barely even hit the backboard, didn't even have a sniff of touching the rim, and the shot clock expired as a result, and it will be Sixer ball. So Cam Payne, Hield, Oubre, Batum, and Reed, the 5 on the floor, so an all-bench lineup aside from Oubre for the Sixers, and then for the Bucks, Green, Portis, Lillard, Lopez, and Pat Connaughton. So the full bench being utilized there for the Bucks. Oubre scores in the mid-range, and I think Batum had no faith in him because he was getting ready for the tip-in. But if he touched the basketball, it would have been an interference of what was a shot made by Oubre. Dame gets into the paint, had Oubre on the back shoulder. Easy score for him, uncontested. Push shot there by Dame from about 7 feet away from the basket. Now Cam Payne on the outside will pass it off to Batum. Back to Cam Payne. The drive. And he gets one up high off the window. Goodness me. With the left hand, I have no idea. That was basically kissing the top of the backboard. That's an incredible bit of skill there by Cam Payne. He has been on one in this game. Dame responds with a more regulation sort of layup.
Payne again. Gets inside, extra feed, and Paul Reed wasn't on the same page. And it goes out of bounds. So Lillard, as we enter the final 10 minutes of this game, it is Dame on the outside, the drive, wraparound pass was knocked away. It ended up with Connaughton. Lopez extra pass to Green. The three, it's off. The board by Oubre, and now Hield will bring it up for the Sixers. He'll use that high screen. Hield will step back, bounce pass to Payne in the corner. Then the high screen set by Reed. Payne picks up his dribble. Oubre catch and shoot three. That's off as well. And the Bucks save before it goes out of play. So Dame will bring it up. It's been a slow start to the last quarter for both teams on the offensive side of things. Dame lost his footing and then nearly flung it away again. It somehow found its way to Connaughton in the corner. And Portis the turnaround. Jay on the baseline. It's good. And he cuts the lead to 1. Oubre early offense. Blocked by Lopez. Was hit on the head. And that could have definitely been a foul. Instead, it's a 5-on-4. Lopez is open. Oubre gets back. Good extra feed. Portis off the window. We're going to get a timeout by Nick Nurse. And I don't think he's going to be too happy because I reckon Oubre was hit on the head there on the follow-through. And now it's all smiles for Brook Lopez. He's been in the shits for most of the game, but on that occasion, great rim protection there by Brook. And 8:42 to play. Bucks lead by 1. And it's been a pretty positive start to the last, for sure. So, still got a long way to go. Long way to go. Alrighty. 88-87, the box score is as follows for Milwaukee. They've got 19 from Giannis, but it really has been the supporting cast that has sort of started to really knuckle down. Connaughton with 9, Green with 8, Portis with 6, Crowder in the third quarter as well. And now they're shooting 50-40. Haven't turned the ball over too much in the second half, which was really their Achilles heel early on. Campaign scored 13. But really, no other Sixer has done too much scoring-wise. And it's been on pretty poor efficiency. Whereas if you look at it from a Bucks perspective and how their, players that have scored 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points have voted, it's been far more efficient for them. Sixers still shooting 50% from the field and 3, but it's just, I think, it's more Milwaukee, more from a Milwaukee standpoint. They are taking authority in this game. Whereas in the first half, it very much felt like they were on the back foot. So, there's still work to be done for Milwaukee, but you would be very happy with the way they have performed to this point. So, not long left now in this game. It's been a good arm wrestle though, for sure. So, look, I reckon Maxey's going to have to score 40 for the Sixers to win this game. And they're going to need a few role players to get the job done as well. I think 110 points definitely wins the game. Who's going to get there first? I think that'll dictate the victory. But the way the game's gone, 20 points has sort of been, or 25, 30 points is pretty hard to obtain in a quarter. The way the game's gone today. So, look, I think Maxey's going to be really, really important. If he gets 40, I think the Sixers get to that 110 mark, which I've been talking about. Maxey is double, though. He's going to get blitzed a fair bit in this last quarter, I'd imagine, every time they do the pick and roll. Hield is wide open, and Green lost him. The miss hit back iron, and it meant there was a long rebound on offer. And the Sixers secure. Maxey gets through. That's a foul. Surely it wasn't a foul. And the Bucks out of frustration, or sorry, the Sixers out of frustration, commit a foul. So the Sixers had the numbers there, but Lopez, that's the defensive anchor you sort of want, able to get the rebound after going vertical there with Maxey. And those are the game-winning plays that I think the Bucks are going to need to really feed off. So good. There by Lopez, and now Lillard on the outside, picked up by Oubre. Right at the logo. Batum now picks him up as the numbers switch. Dame's going to get into the paint. The kick out to Lopez. The handoff to Green. Puts one up. And there was a foul. And I think it's on the three-pointer. With 2.5 to play, that is an incredibly big bailout sort of call. And you'd think with all the Bucks calls that haven't gone their way today, there was bound to be one that does go their way. So Green at the free throw line makes the first and gets the lead up to 2. And 7:50 to play here in this game. So 10 points for Green tonight. Second free throw is good. He must have had his toe on the line because he only got the 2 free throws. Bucks on a 9-0 run. Batum can end it here. No, he doesn't. He's off to the left. And the Bucks, you reckon, you would probably say this is where they need to make the move. Dame, good change of pace. Layup. Doesn't get the angle. Lopez nearly got the tip in, but the Sixers get the rebound at the end when it's all said and done. Batum's open to the corner for Hield. They had the numbers, and Hield knocks it down. He's too good to miss those. He's trained those time and time again. And it's now a 1-point game. So, big stop on one end leads to points on the other side. Now, Dame, picked up by Batum. The screen. And Dame actually uses it as a decoy. Weave through. The numbers collapsed. And the 3 was hit by Green. This guy looks like a 60 overall auto-generated player on 2K. And Mans has gone out and scored some big buckets in the last couple of minutes. Bucks on a 12-3 run. And they lead by 4. Maxey will take it inside. Nearly moved the pivot foot. Was short on the mid-range. And the Bucks are getting the stops they need now. Portis in the corner. Fumbled it. Had a fair bit of space there if he could get it clean. Handoff back to Portis. Takes it inside. The hook shot. Gets the bounce. And the Sixers are going to call another timeout with 6 minutes to play. 96-90. And the Bucks look like they may be taking this one. It's really come down to the bench. Both benches, I mean, you look at the sort of output you're getting from either bench, and, you know, the Sixers just have not really gotten much from their supporting cast at all. It's been very much, like you're seeing Bobby Portis get involved. You're seeing AJ Green get involved for the Bucks. Like, these guys aren't really notorious for being, you know, super eye-catching sort of players, but they're getting the job done here today in a game where the game's there for the taking. The Sixers have been outscored thoroughly in this third, or in this second half more so, but in this last quarter especially. They did lead at three-quarter time by 3, I think. But yeah, in this last quarter, they have been outscored by 9, really struggled, only the 7 points in half a quarter. So yeah, it's been pretty tough going for them in the second half, and Maxey has scored 29, but he just can't do all of it by himself. It was always going to be a tall order And that's where you need the supporting cast to come in. If you look at that box score, it just doesn't scream anything. Cam Payne's been really solid, but he's only played the 11 minutes, which I think is a little bit criminal. But you can't really have Payne and Maxey on the floor at the same time. You could, but you're probably going to get cooked on defense when it comes to having to defend Dame, which is something they've done pretty well today. Dame's got the 15 points. He's actually taken the most shots, which is surprising. And he's also a team high plus 20 with Brook Lopez, who's hit the 4 threes. He's got a steal and a block, had 5 dimes, that has Lopez. And you know it's a good thing when 4 players for the Bucks have 4 or more dimes. And it's coming from players who have got the most points. So they've not only scored a ton, but they're basically inadvertently involved with nearly every other point that's being scored on the court. Like Giannis 7 dimes, Dame 6 dimes. I mean, basically these guys are really involved on every single possession. And that's exactly what you want. You don't want these guys going missing late game when you need them to do business against this sort of opponent. So they've been really, really solid. Really, really good to this point in the game. There is still plenty of time left in this match. And the Sixers are going to have to make a move now because, well, if they don't score at a better rate than what they have been for the first 6 minutes, then they're absolutely finished here. Maxey, Harris, going to hand it off back to Maxey. The cross, the bounce pass to Harris was well advantaged for him, but it was as the shot clock expired, he had to put it up in a little bit of a rushed fashion, and it is going to be the Bucks who can extend this lead a little bit further. Giannis takes it inside, and the layup is good, and they've struggled with Giannis on the court, but that's the kind of move you need to see him make. Maxey to Bamba, picks up his dribble, gives it to Harris, who shoots at the elbow, and he scores. And he's found it really tough going today to actually get going offensively. But that's, I guess, a good sign to see. Dame, 1-on-1 with Harris, takes it inside and is blocked by Harris. And they'll get it on the baseline here. They've only got 6 to get a shot up. We're in the final 5 minutes of this fourth quarter. Been a pretty entertaining game to watch, to be honest. And so it'll be inbounded here by Dame to Giannis in the post. He's got Harris guarding. Bamba comes over to help. Giannis converts on the baseline, and the Bucks crack the ton. They lead by 8. They're in a very, very good spot now with 4:40 to play. That's Giannis's 22nd and 3rd points of the game. He's got a double-double. And he's pushing a triple-double. Only 3 more dimes to get there. Great defense by Green. Didn't allow Maxey to really put one up. Harris to Bamba. He's well held up. Harris is going to have to put one up as the shot clock expires. He's hit it. How on earth? That is just absolute bullshit that's transpired on my screen. But the Sixers aren't going to complain. It counts for 3 points. Green the response, and that one rims out. So the Sixers, off the back of that lucky 3-pointer as the shot clock expired, may be back in with a shot. Bamba with the putback too, after Brook Lopez contested the Maxey layup as he got by the defender. And now we have a timeout from a Milwaukee standpoint. So how quickly a game can turn. They had no business scoring a 3 a couple plays ago, and they've just found a way to get those 3 and then force a stop the other end, and all of a sudden they've got the last 5 points. So this is a position which, I mean, you would feel a little bit uneasy if you're a supporter of the Bucks, because, I mean, they've played well, done bits to get back into the game. It's going to be interesting to see, though, for sure. If this one can be closed out from a Milwaukee standpoint, or will the Sixers steal the game here? Maxey's been superb. He scored 29 points in the game. Not too much support there for him, but in the last couple of minutes, it's been Tobias Harris who scored the buckets. No matter how shit the possession has been, I think he scored he scored 5 points in the last minute or two. The Bucks have a superb record at home. They're 25-6 at the Fiserv Forum. And they've got an opportunity to tack on another win in their 32nd match at the venue this season. That's a pretty stupid foul to be given away there. It's actually the first team foul conceded by Philadelphia it's their third. Milwaukee have not conceded a foul the entire quarter. Oh, wow. Oubre nearly got the steal. He was able to knock away the Dame pass to Lopez, but the Bucks still have it. Then he knocks it away from Giannis. Got it back. It's a travel. No, it's a foul. It's a foul on Bamba. But I think Nick Nurse is very tempted here to challenge it because, oh, wow, the pivot foot definitely shuffled. You absolutely have to challenge that from a Sixers perspective. And he's a bit of a fool for not doing it because, mate, that could not be any more clear-cut of a travel call. I mean, that has to be a travel. Has to be. And you're an absolute idiot, Nick Nurse. You should have challenged that. That would have been an easy win. An easy win. They would have overturned that in a heartbeat. Giannis makes the first free throw. I think they may have been trying to play the percentages, knowing Giannis isn't, of course. He's very much a flawed free throw shooter in a lot of respects here. So I think that's what they've tried to do in saving the timeout, but it may actually backfire if they lose this game by a possession or less. So 3:30 to play. Giannis to get the lead up to 5 for Milwaukee. Giannis's free throw is good, and it's now a 5-point game. And the Sixers have a bit of work to do, but they are within reach. They're just going to have to get a couple of stops on the defensive end and keep Giannis off the line. Bamba's going to hand off to Harris. Now the switch. Picks up his dribble. And now Maxey, picked up by Green. Maxey the spin, the kick out. Harris the drive. Pulls up for 2 again. He's hit another shot. And all of a sudden, Harris has woken up from his slumber. And he's hit 7 points in like the last 2 minutes without a miss. So we enter the final 3 minutes. Harris with 7 in the quarter, all inside the final 5 minutes. Giannis now on the perimeter. The screen and switch. It's Bamba picking up Giannis. Lost the ball. That's turnover number 7. And it's going to be Sixer ball. As they commit the foul after the turnover was forced there. So the Sixers get that stop, that elusive stop. And now Maxey on the outside with 2.5 to play can tie the game with a 3-point make. Bamba. Good cut there by Oubre, who was blocked by Lopez, who saved it. Unbelievable defensive play there by Lopez. And if this counts for points on the other side, which it does, what a turnaround. And Harris is in trouble. He is down, so it is essentially a 4-on-5. Harris can't move. He's holding his right leg, and we're going to get a timeout here because the Sixers are going to have a numerical disadvantage here. I reckon Giannis has landed on the ankle of Harris, for sure. And there's not too much you can do there with Giannis. I don't think he could have done anything to break his fall there, really. He probably stood on Tobias Harris on the way down. And Harris, who was very, very good in keeping them alive, That's going to end his night early as he's helped to the bench. And he won't be able to play. He's looking very, very ginger. And he's going to go down the race. So, looks like that'll be Harris's night done with 2 minutes and 6 seconds to play. And that throws another spanner into the works. Let's have a look. Right, so Harris, it wasn't even Giannis. It was just Harris landed on his ankle there. On his right ankle. A turn outward. And so it's going to be Harris's night done definitely with the ankle sprain. And that's just another injury you don't want. But that's going to mean that the Sixers are going to be very much forced into probably, you know, relying on some Tyrese Maxey hero ball or some role player clutching up for them. I'm looking at the likes of Oubre, potentially Buddy Hield checks into the game after that injury. Instead, it looks like, I don't know who that is in the corner. No, Harris is still in. Harris is fine. Wow, what a recovery. Maxey shoots on the baseline. It's off. And a board for the Bucks. And you would suspect that they can just slow this one right down as we enter the final 2 minutes. And this should be, well, Dame is going to take it inside. Shoots a step back 2 over Harris. And he converts. And the lead's up to 7. And we've got 90 or so seconds left in the game. The Sixers are going to have to move it quickly. Harris looks pretty unaffected, even though he turned his ankle about 2 minutes ago. Harris takes it in and scores with the right hand from about 5 feet away. And the Sixers keep on lingering, mate. 1:20 to play. 106-101. Dame in an ISO with Harris. He gives it to Lopez, who pulls the trigger, and he converts from way behind the line. That's probably going to do it. That probably does it right there. The Sixers are going to have to operate very, very quickly here if they're to have any hope. Maxey, they're going to need a response quite quickly. He gets through the foul, and Lopez is going to be hit with it. So, scores 3 on one end, but on the other side, commits the foul. And that'll mean they can tack on a couple of points without the clock running down. So, big shots down the stretch here by Lopez, by Dame. Perfect rotation on the ball there by Lopez. And you could see the Sixers players on the bench just saying, damn. I'm no expert lip reader, but I was able to read that. Lopez, that was his 5th 3 of the night. Maxey missed the first free throw. It looks like there's some wings on offer if Maxey misses the second, which he does not. So, unfortunately, no wings for the Bucks faithful. We're in the final minute. It would take something special for the Bucks to lose this one. Dame, Giannis, pump fake, foul, and I think maybe the Sixers challenged that. Bamba was hit with it. Giannis blew the layup. And with 44 seconds left, it'll be free throws for Giannis here. And basically the blokes that started the last quarter for the Bucks are in now. Like AJ Green has played the entire 4th quarter for Milwaukee. So that is the embodiment of a role player having a cracking game. I mean, bit surprised that they decided to not run campaign in the last quarter at any stage. Giannis has been great at the free throw line down the stretch here. 110-102 now. And you would suspect that this is probably out of reach with 45 or so seconds left. And basically 3 possessions needed to get back into this contest. I would imagine the Sixers will play the long game here. But, wow. So it's going to be predicated on if they can move it quickly. Giannis misses the second free throw. Lowry shoots the 3. He's fouled. Oh, goodness me. That is just a little bit of a stinky sort of play there by Green, who I believe for the second time tonight has fouled a three-point shooter. So it's going to be 3 shots, and that actually gives the Sixers a sniff. If Lowry can go perfect on these trips, on these free throws, on this trip, Lowry's first goes down, and that would have, if Maxey had have made both free throws on the previous trip, it would have made it a hell of a lot more interesting. So Sixers had really not had many trips to the free throw line in the last probably 24 minutes of game time. Like the whole second half, they've had very much of a drought in getting to the free throw line, but they found something late in the game here to just keep them alive. So 37 seconds left. And from a Bucks perspective, you would probably expect to be fouled. The Sixers make all 3. So Lowry doesn't leave any points on the table here, and the Sixers will need to be very aggressive defending the inbounds here. Lowry's guarding Dame. That's who they'll probably look for, and they're going to call a timeout. So Sixers cover the outlets well, and Doc Rivers will be forced to draw something up here. So 110 or 110. Wow. 110 to 105 with 37 and a half to play. The Bucks are using one of their final 2 timeouts. Both teams in the bonus. And in this game, it's been 11 lead changes, 4 times tied. The Sixers led by as much as 12 in the second quarter, but the Bucks have responded well. They did lead by 8 at multiple times in this quarter, and they led by 8 before the 3-point shot by Lowry was also deemed to be a foul by the Bucks. So the Bucks are going to have to trigger this in. If they don't get it in, they do have another timeout up their sleeve, but they wouldn't want to have to use it. So yeah. So 2-possession game. The Sixers really just can't play outright. They can't let the Bucks run down the entirety of the clock because of course they run down the entirety of the clock. There's only 13 seconds left and they've got to get the ball up the court twice. If anything, the Sixers will be looking to get it into the hands of Giannis here, who is on the court, and they're leaving him open in the backcourt. So let's see who they get open. They get it into Giannis, and they're going to foul Giannis. I think the Sixers will be very happy with that. Of all the players you probably want sent to the free throw line, it's probably Giannis, who is shooting decent from the line in this game. A couple of free throws coming up here. Giannis is 10 of 14 tonight. He's 66% on the season, so makes 2 for every 3. What does that say about the chances of him making both free throws here? I've got absolutely no idea. The 2 very decisive free throws coming up. If he doesn't make any of these, it becomes very interesting. But Giannis has been very reliable from the line tonight for a guy who doesn't shoot it awfully that well. Man has to be in the lab a ton trying to perfect the craft because he gets to the free throw line an awfully large amount. So, he's really got to make use of these. And he makes both. So a good strat by the Sixers, but the strategy falls flat. And now the Sixers down 7. Harris, no room for the 3. Oubre to Maxey, who has room for the 3. And he didn't bank in the 3. And it'll be a board for the Bucks. And they'll hold it up. And there'll be a foul. That'll do it. You would sense 20 and, best part of 21 seconds left on the clock. Giannis will go back to the line. with the Bucks leading by 7. They've had it tough in this game. It's been a pretty good arm wrestle, but the Sixers just don't have that firepower without Embiid, and you could sort of see it from a mile away. It is Giannis who will shoot a couple more here, and yeah, this one will probably be very quickly wrapped up. I wouldn't suspect if the Sixers miss a shot the other way, I don't think they're going to really play the long game, to be honest. So this has been a huge last quarter for Milwaukee. It's been their most offensively gifted quarter of the night. They hadn't scored above 30 points in any quarter prior to the last, but they've gone out and scored 33 and significantly outscored the opposition. Giannis has made his last 4 free throws in the clutch, and Maxey's going to look to pass it to Buddy Hield here. There is just no space to get a shot up. Hield is open very momentarily, and then he bounced it off his foot. Pat Bev will get it into the Bucks half, and that'll do it. 114-105 the final, and the Sixers, well, they drop another game. That's their 30th loss of the season. I believe they're going to go back into the play-in spaces. The Bucks score 34 points in the last quarter, and the opposition, being the Sixers, score another 22. So they only had 44 points to the Bucks, 61 in the second half. Yeah, and ultimately, I mean, you look at the box score, the Bucks got 32 points from Giannis. He did beef up his stat line later in the game. 19 to Lopez. He had a big shot. Dame was on the quieter side, but he had 9 dimes in the game. Giannis had 7 dimes, although the 7 turnovers. Maxey and Beverly are doing a jumper swap, which is sort of odd. I mean, they were teammates, so it sort of makes sense. And overall, I mean, AJ Green, some big shots off the bench. He played 28 minutes. Connaughton played 29. They played those two guys over Jay Crowder and Pat Bev down the stretch, and it ultimately proved decisive because they were shooting the ball well, spacing the floor nicely, and ultimately they ended up shooting the ball very well from the field and 3, and they also had a pretty decent field or free throw percentage, even with Giannis taking, well, he took 3/4 of their free throws, which is pretty impressive for him to make 14 of those. That's a great showing by him. But I think Philly did a pretty good job keeping him out of the paint. Tyrese Maxey had 30 in the game, but he really dried up. Offensively in the final quarter. I think he had 29 at 3/4 time, so he just really found it difficult to shake off the attention that he was getting late in the game. Tobias Harris had some good contribution late. He made like 3 in a row, but they just didn't have enough support. Campaign was good off the bench in only 11 minutes, but he actually played the least minutes of any Sixer off the bench, which was sort of a surprise. But ultimately, this really shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, the Bucks went into this game heavy favorites. The Sixers did everything in their power to win the game, but they only forced the 4 Bucks turnovers in the second half. And in the first half, that was a great source of points for them. So it was a shame that they couldn't keep it up. And that probably is what meant they fell short in the end. They shot the ball lights out from the field and 3, didn't really get to the free throw line too much in the second half. They were stranded on like 9 free throws for the longest time and then got a couple shots late. But overall, I mean, they'll be happy with the performance and the execution. I don't think they could have played too much better than what they did. But it's just, you know, sometimes when you got Dame and Giannis to deal with, and you don't really have your number one focal point offensively in Embiid, which accounts for like 30 points, like 3 role players worth, that's when, you know, everything's going to be a hell of a lot more difficult. And that is ultimately why they've been losing games. You know, that's why they've been losing a ton of games in recent memory. It's primarily because, you know, they don't have that Embiid presence. They were 23-10, and they're now 36-3. 30. So they've been as high as, well, they were 30 and 17 at one stage. So they've gone 6 and 13 since. So yeah, they've really sort of struggled to stay afloat. They've got some tough fixtures also upcoming. They've got a West Coast road trip with Phoenix, LA Clippers twice, or both LAs, Phoenix, Sacramento, then they play the Clippers again, and then Cleveland. So that is a very tough stretch of games for the Sixers, and they very much could be below 500. Who knows? Depending on when Embiid comes back, if he does return at any stage for the regular season. For Milwaukee, they are in a decent enough spot. That's their 43rd win of the season. That is their 26th win at home, which is obviously great for them. They do play the Suns next, then they play the Celtics, and then the Nets, my team, upcoming as well. So they're going to have a couple tests in there, and then the Nets, of course, who are basically a cakewalk most nights. So I think it's fair to say that it is going to be interesting to see how they go. But I'm going to wrap it up here. That's going to do it from me. So I hope you enjoyed the stream, whoever is tuned in still or has tuned in. Thanks for tuning in. This has been a test run. Haven't minded doing this. I think I'll try it with a couple other different matchups and see what works. But overall, I would say that this has been a success. Thank you. Stay safe. We'll see you soon. And talk to you soon. Bye for now.